bombarded. So we're going to take a look at that deepening refugee crisis. The UN saying the number of people who have already fled Ukraine is now more than 1 million, and almost all of them are women and children. More than half, nearly 600,000, have gone to Poland. Others, though, have crossed into Romania, Slovakia, Moldova and Hungary. Let's go to my colleague Kasia Madeira, who has been on the Polish border now for some days. How is it there today, Kasia?
Well, this is Korczowa. This is on the border between Poland and Ukraine, and this is one of the first places that people that manage to get over the border come to. There is an awful lot of activity. If you just bear in mind the sheer volume of people that have left Ukraine in such a short space of time. We've been here, we've been to various different places, and the dynamic is continuously changing. So there are people milling around. This is a first port of call. A lot of people arrive by buses. They've just come from the border. They get brought to a warehouse where inside, we're not filming inside because we respect the people's privacy. They are exhausted, they're tired, but inside what is, I can only describe as a warehouse, a huge shopping centre stroke warehouse. There are rows upon rows upon rows of camp beds where people can just get some sleep. What happens next to them? Because bear in mind, they've already had an incredibly long journey, many fleeing from as far as Odessa, Kharkiv. We've spoken to people, of course, from Kiev, who then came to Lviv. They were able to catch trains from Lviv and they come to Poland. Predominantly these people here, they've come from Medyka, one of the biggest border crossings. We were there earlier on today, and still people come, still people are leaving Ukraine. So when they come here, they then get a bit of an opportunity just to sort their heads out, given the immense journeys that they've had. They're brought in by buses. There are a couple of buses, every couple of minutes, buses coming in, bringing people out, giving them rest, giving them food. And then the people that have been here for some time, they're moved onto buses which then go across Poland to other different places, whether it's the capital Warsaw, whether it's Krakow, whether it's Katowice, and further afield as well. A lot of Ukrainians do have family and friends in Poland. There is a large Ukrainian community here, around between 1 and 2 million, it's estimated. So a lot of people already have contacts here. A lot of people don't. And of course, don't forget, a lot of people coming from Ukraine are not Ukrainian nationals. A very diverse community coming across the border. Students who are in the universities in Kiev, the universities in Lviv, all of them coming through. People who had previously left different war zones from Afghanistan, who found solace in Ukraine, and now finding themselves in another war zone. They're coming to Poland as well. Poland is taking the largest number of refugees thus far. The UN already saying that 1 million mark has been reached in just over a week. And it takes infrastructure to handle such a huge number of people. Poland's stressing everybody is welcome. Everybody that feels unsafe is welcome to find refuge, to seek solace in this country, to come to safety to Poland. Again, we're waiting for another couple of buses to come through, and when they come, the guys that have been working here consistently for the past few days, the fire services, the police officers, they liaise with volunteers and high-vis jackets. They then discuss who needs to go where. All the time, care and attention is paid to the people who come here because there is a need that they feel welcome. They've obviously gone through trauma. The WHO is talking about the medical supplies that need to go over to Ukraine. They'll be coming through Poland. And also the EU, looking at the bigger picture. What happens to this huge volume of people that have been displaced, that have had to leave their homes? So they're talking about a protection settlement process in order to enable people, all people from Ukraine, to be able to live, to be able to work in EU countries, because this is the beginning of the next episode of so many of these people's journeys. They'll be able to potentially find work in EU countries. They'll be able to get accommodation, access to medical supplies, access also to education because of this high number of children that are coming through as well. So the process is basically come here, work out what you want to do next. There are offers of transportation. People have been driving from different countries. We've spoken from people from Germany, from Denmark, from Holland, who've all come here, who all want to help people then come back to their homes and just get some rest while they work out what happens next, given the volatile situation back in Ukraine.
Kasia, thanks so much for joining us on the border there with Poland. So while Kasia is in Poland, and as she mentioned, many people are heading there, we know that they're going to other countries as well: Romania, Slovakia, Moldova and Hungary. So let's bring you the view now from the Hungarian border. Here's our correspondent Nick Thorpe.
A mountain of gifts for the people of Ukraine from the people of Hungary. The warehouse next to the primary school in Tisabec is constantly replenished. Next door, 3,000 people a day are fed, watered, rested and guided on their way.
Free people to Prague.
My husband will go to Kiev to continue fighting. We have many kind people who help with children, who make like this the meals, or who make the places to sleep. So they, oh, a new place, oh, that is interesting. So they are okay, I hope.
Volunteers distribute donations from all over the country. There's something for even the smallest guests. Gabor drove from the western to the eastern tip of Hungary, 600 kilometers, to bring provisions.
I saw in the TV last night, help is needed here, food and clothes for the children.
The refugees include many Roma from Ukraine. Now they're being looked after by the Roma of Hungary. It's Alex's first haircut in exile. Around 50 people a night sleep here in the pensioners' club in the village of Uska. My mum will like this, a little girl announced. Judith and Lajos run a guest house in a village near the border. They don't charge Ukrainians a penny for accommodation or food.
Köszönöm, spasiba.
Na zdrowie, na zdrowie, na zdrowie.
We feel so sorry for them, Judith told me. Tea provides a common language.
And how many grandchildren?
Pedig 3,5 éves.
Back in their room, Alf the cat watches over their possessions, catching up on the latest news from home over an open Bible, 1 Corinthians. In the new Europe, Ukrainian passports are badges of pride and defiance. Nick Thorpe, BBC News on the Hungary-Ukraine border.